Todd, what did you say to your team after that?
Got to finish ball games. Guys get a chance to play. They got to come in and play and execute. We can't play hard and then not play smart at the end. We got to play smarter football. There's nothing wrong with how hard we're playing and how tough we're playing, but we got to finish games. We got to find a way to finish ball games, making too many mistakes at the end.
It's just a little thing like the Josh Hayes not lining up properly on the kickoff. He gives him 5 more yards, things like that.
That plus a lot of other things. That didn't win or lose it, but just from an offensive standpoint, executing on the run play, getting the TFL. From a defensive standpoint, playing off when you're pressing and situational football, that guys are getting a chance to play. That they got to come in and they got to execute.
Todd, to have a 1st and goal at the 9, really have control of the game at that point, and then to only get the field goal and give them enough time left. Do you think could you have been too worried about the clock and the play calling at the end there?
No, we weren't worried about the clock. We thought our play calls were very good. They got us for a TFL that kind of set us back, and we never kind of got anything on 2nd and 3rd down.
If you were going to run the ball, why isn't Bucky Irving in the game in that situation anyway? He's your best offensive player right now.
Well, they were going back and forth. Rashad had some good plays, and he had some good runs in the second half as well. So Bucky had his runs, Rashad had his runs. I don't think if a guy penetrates in the backfield, it didn't matter who the back was.
Coach, at the end of the game, you had 3 timeouts. Was there any thought into potentially icing Jake Moody at the end there?
No, he would have been fine. They were in field goal range. He had missed 2 before that, so we didn't feel like icing him.
I know you were in an unfavorable situation there at the end when you went for the field goal versus going for it. I mean, was there any thought to going for it, considering the fact that Zion McCollum, you know, your other starting cornerback was out with a hamstring injury?
No.
Todd, that last drive for them with Zion down, what was your philosophy? What were you trying to get done? Cover?
Trying to win the game. We're trying to win the game. We had to rush the passer, and the DBs had to cover. It doesn't matter who was in the ball game. You understand what the game plan is. You got to execute, and we didn't execute.
Do you have any sort of injury updates? I know that there are some reports. Tristan Wirfs sprained MCL, but I didn't know about like Zion McCollum or Chris Braswell.
Not at this time.
It looks like Baker either couldn't get to or didn't trust or didn't complete a lot of balls to his receivers today, wide receivers. Why was that?
They was covering. I mean, I got to see the tape to be sure, but they were covering some, and sometimes the pressure was getting to him a little bit, and he had to get out the pocket. When Tristan went down, it kind of quickened everything up a little bit. We kind of went to more of a short passing game.
Todd, you always talk about any loss stings, obviously, but to have 2 losses in this run in overtime, to have another like today where you had a chance at victory in the final minute, how much worse is it that days have gotten away as consistently as they have?
I mean, they're all bad. They're all bad, whether you lose by 40 or whether you lose at the end in overtime. They're all bad. You want to win ball games any way possible. It's disheartening when we don't execute the things that we know we have to execute to lose those ball games instead of just trying to win it.
Scott, I know that injuries aren't an excuse, but your team, it seems, every week is losing 2 or 3 key starters. How frustrating overall has that been on a week-in, week-out basis to, for whatever reason, this injury bug just keeps biting?
I mean, we understand that. We got to adjust to it. We got to adjust, and guys got to keep stepping up. We're playing tough, even though we're losing guys week in and week out. We just got to turn the corner.
Second game in a row this week that your defense has an opportunity to win it at the end if they can stop. Is it a matter of being winded at the end of the game? I mean, how would you kind of assess how your defense is playing?
They were completely fresh, and we just didn't make the plays to send the game into overtime.
What can you say about your team? I know despite the loss, you lose Tristan Wirfs, and your team is still able to, you know, move the ball well, running specifically, like between the play calling and just some of the run blocking. What can you say about that? I mean, they were averaging over 5 yards a pop without Tristan.
I mean, we did some good things, but there are no more victories. We lost the ball game. We got to do things better. We got to do things better.
Heading into the bye week, Coach, what are you stressing to the guys in the locker room the most?
We'll talk. We got to get healthy, number one. Those guys got to take care of themselves. That's the biggest thing. When we come back, we've seen every offense and defense and special team that's going to happen. We just got to execute.
Todd, you lost Tyke late in the week on a Friday injury. Do you know what happened there? Are you worried by the number of late week injuries you've incurred in practice this year?
He bumped into somebody knee to knee, and it kind of swelled up on him, and thought he'd be fine by Sunday. Ended up not being good.
And McMillan was active today, but it looked like just couldn't go.
No, he couldn't. I mean, we tried it, so we activated Callaway just to make sure, just in case he could go, but he couldn't go, so we put Callaway in there.
Good. Thank you.